This morning, an article in the Wall Street Journal caught my eye. On the front page, it says, "Bullish mood wanes, stock market drops for the week." It goes on to explain that this past week has been a tough week, and it has shown the first real drop in the stock market since last February, and that they attribute it to basically fear that the Fed will ease its monetary policy and stop buying so many bonds and stocks within the market, which then creates liquidity, and liquidity creates higher prices in the stock market. And there's a fear that that will slow down. And because, again, you need to recognize when there are more buyers, and the Fed is a big buyer, than there are sellers, the prices go up. So that is that pulling back. And then there's fear that employment has slowed down. I personally believe that employment has slowed down because the coronavirus has given people more options and more opportunities. That is to say, they didn't have a choice before or didn't know of a choice before the coronavirus, and took whatever job was available. But because humans tend to find a way to survive, a lot of people have found a better way to work from home, use the digital economy to their benefit. And so there is a change of attitude that I won't take just any job you offer me. In fact, I'll find another way. And some of them, the way was the relief packages and the forbearance on their mortgages. And they found other ways. Do I think that employment number will go up as some of the options run out? Possibly. But I think we have to recognize we're in a different world than we were 3 years ago. So what I'd like to do when I see this, and because what I'm asking myself is, are we in for another major dip in the market? Are we in the throes of maybe another a 10% or a 20% pullback? So what I like to do is look to history. I believe that, in fact, the market is driven by events. We're celebrating. No, we're recognizing an event this weekend, 9/11, and we have to recognize that changed the world we lived in, or we live in, and as a result, some stocks went up, some stocks went down. So as an investor, I have to recognize these events and then act accordingly. I'm now asking myself, are we on the verge of another event that is going to cause a pullback in the market? I suspect we are. And I'm going to call it what a lot of people call it, and that is the Delta variant. So what I do is I go to my charts. I use Trading Views. If you'd like to find a link to that, it's in my description. I'll show you what I use and how versatile it is. And this is a chart I go back to on a regular basis of the S&P 500 to say, okay, can I learn something from history that will tell me what's going to happen next week, and the week after that, and the week after that, so that I can make appropriate moves. So let's go to my computer. Let's look at my Trading Views chart and see if we can find a parallel and say, okay, this is what happened back then. What are the commonalities today? And can it give me a clue as to what's going to happen next? First of all, though, I've got to disclose that I'm not your financial advisor, and then ask for a favor. And that is, if you'd like these kind of insights, subscribe to this channel. Help me out on my algorithm. Give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. Engagement is very important. And what I want to do is share my years of knowledge. I'm a retired financial advisor with more people, because I believe the stock market can provide a second source or even a first source of income for people who understand it, who educate themselves and understand the market we deal in, and then build a trading strategy. I'll be right back.
Best of Us Investors presents Carrie Griegmeyer.
Okay, this is my trading views chart. It's on the S&P 500. And as you can see here in the top, it says stock market is driven by events. And I show you some of the events that drive the stock market, the internet and digital revolution, the e-commerce revolution, the social media and mobile phone revolution. And we'll get to some over here in a second. I also then track the amount of debt that our country goes in, because I believe that the money has to go somewhere. And when there's an abundance of money, it goes to the stock market. So you'll see, I'm saying in 2000, we had a $4 trillion debt. In 08, we had an $8 trillion debt. In 18, we had an $18 trillion. And I'll show you more. What I then want to do is zero this in on more current activities. Let me see if I can get this centered. Okay, what I'm looking at here is today. And what I believe is driving the market is certainly the coronavirus and the flood of money into our economy. We went from $20 trillion in 2020 to today it's 28 trillion, and a big part of that came in the last 18 months. I believe that then this coronavirus is going to spur the healthcare revolution, and that's what I'm investing into biotech for, is to take care of that. What I think has now just raised its head is the Delta variant. And what concerns me about the Delta variant is what's happening here today, last Saturday. I watched college football games last Saturday, and I saw hundreds of thousands of people in the stands, when last year there was no one in the stands. In fact, many colleges didn't play. So I believe that the Delta variant is going to come back into play, and we know right here, we know what happened when the coronavirus came into action. We had a tremendous drop in the stock market. Do I think that's going to happen again? No, I don't. I don't think it will be that severe. You can see this was just fear, driven straight down, and then recovery as the government fed us with money. So what I decided was, let's go and look somewhere and see if we can see a parallel. And that is right here. This is in September of 18 through December of 18. We saw a drop in the stock market to the tune of 18%. What was that drop driven by? Well, I've outlined it here. Fed policy, a fear of higher interest rates. Is that going on now? China relations, is that an issue right now? Tech scrutiny. Are you aware what happened with Apple just last Friday? Inflated company earnings, and a PE ratio got up to 33. Well, where is it today? It's at 31. So there are some parallels here. And then the other issue at that time was GOP tax cuts. We're not looking at tax cuts. We're now looking at possible tax increases. So do we see some parallels here that kind of line up from the September of 2018 through December of 2018, and then we saw a climb back? Do you see some parallels there that say, yeah, there's a lot of talk about Fed speak? Is Jerome Powell going to raise interest rates? Is the central bank going to stop buying securities to put more money into the stock market? Are the prices of current stocks, are their PE ratios out of line? There's a lot of people who believe that is the case. So I see a direct parallel from this point in time to this point in time. Now, what I also recognize is that what can't happen at the same time is a continuation of money coming into the market. So I'm looking and saying, if in fact Joe can't get his infrastructure policy through, I believe it's a $2 trillion policy. If he can't get that through, we better be looking for the exit doors, okay? And I then have to decide at what level am I willing to step out of the market and go to the sidelines with cash in anticipation of another move like this. Does that look possible? It does. It does really. At the same token, I am very committed to what I call the healthcare revolution. I believe what has happened since February of 2020 to today is just screaming, this can never happen again. If you watched 60 Minutes last Sunday, they did a rerun of a piece where DARPA, which is the government's military end of science, is working diligently to see to it that our healthcare system is changed. If you've watched any of my videos, I did a video on 12 stocks that are going to change the world. They're all healthcare stocks. And when I say that, I mean genome sequencing, genome editing, artificial intelligence, learning how to find drugs, protein sequencing. This is all part of this healthcare revolution. And I think it's going to be even accelerated by the Delta variant. So and I'm speaking right off the top of my head, what are my options here? If in fact this 1998 December, or what was it, September through December happens again, we're in September through December, wow, what a coincidence. If that happens again, what do I want to liquidate? Do I want to give up on my healthcare stocks that I think are going to revolutionize the world? Do I want to expose myself to not being there if in fact something happens that causes them to grow exponentially? Or would I be smarter taking my money out of my Googles, my Apples, my Amazons, my Facebook, my Tesla, who are going to react to the general market conditions? I don't know the answer to that yet, but I will work it out. I will think it through, and I invite you to come back on a regular basis to see what I think is going to happen, because I look at this list of items in that white box and I say, they're all there again. They're all about to come to the boiling point again. And then you add the coronavirus or the Delta variant to that. And is there under any scenario we can avoid this? And I think the answer to that is that $2 trillion infrastructure package. That's what I'm going to be watching. If I see that as a no possibility, I'm looking for the door. I'm looking for the exit sign. Okay? That's my take on this very unique situation. I would encourage you to build yourself a chart like this. I think you can see what it does is it gives you a historical perspective on what the stock market is doing and what it might do in the future. Okay, that's my take on the market. I think we're in prime opportunity for a pullback. I'll go with the number that happened in 2018 and say it's probably somewhere between a 15% and 20% pullback. But I want you to also understand that it always recovers. If I go back to 1958 and look at the S&P 500, the line is basically straight up. There are dips. You need to decide if you want to ride through that dip or you want to avoid that pothole in the road. Do you want to steer clear of it? That's the decision you need to make, and I'm here to help you make that decision. I don't have a crystal ball. I just have some years of experience. I have some knowledge to say the stock market in particular, the economy is driven by events. And you cannot deny that the Delta variant is an event. It's Saturday morning. It's what? Look at my 9:23. In a couple hours, I will be able to go to my TV and look around the United States and see how many people are in the stadiums of college football games. And I think that will tell me what the future of the Delta variant is and what the future of our medical situation is. The medical world has to find a cure for this because the population isn't. You can go and look at pro football stadiums. The population is not going to stop this variant. They have publicly stated that. Here in my state of Alabama, 60% of the citizens of Alabama said, "We don't give a damn about your life, Carrie. We aren't going to take the shot." So, put out of your mind that the population is going to make this go away. It isn't going to happen. So what has to happen? The medical community has to solve this problem because you and I aren't going to do it. We will refuse. The stadium, even though Alabama is playing a cream puff game today, Mercer, that stadium will be full. And look around. How many people are wearing masks? Is there any social distancing at all? Yeah, 3 inches. Your shoulder to my shoulder. Your breath to my nose. The population is not going to cure this. It has to be the medical field. That should give you a clue as to where you should be investing your money. Okay, that's my take. I think it's a pretty good take. And I would suggest to you, if you want to stay ahead of this game, subscribe. Come join my tribe. I think I know what's going to happen next.